Greetings everybody and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back with our series. We are now into the semi-finals. We have 2 battles left and then the finals. This video was originally supposed to come out on probably Friday morning, but I decided because I had too much to do yesterday and I didn't want to rush the video, that I would just put it out Friday before my monster hits. At least that's the plan. But of course, you know, sometimes plans do not work out. But we're going to attempt to do it that way. So the series, for those of you who are following, this is a series of the obscure prog war is what this is called. So these are obscure bands. They're not like those famous progressive rock bands or even the tier 2 bands. These are the ones that for whatever reason they didn't quite make it. Maybe they only had a couple of albums, or maybe they were on a weak label, perhaps there wasn't English in their language, or perhaps they only were in their own country, or they may have had lots of lineup changes, or they may have had a manager that really didn't promote them well. There's all kinds of possible reasons why some of these bands didn't make it. Some of them are a little further out to the left side for the prog than you normally get. But on the whole, I've discovered that at least, so we've done 32 bands. I would say pretty close to maybe 20, somewhere between 20 and 24 of them have been like a lot better than I had hoped for. Maybe in 5 or 6 of them that were kind of average and didn't really do much for me. But on the whole, I thought this is very good. Now these 4 remaining bands are all really good, excellent. Tonight's battle is going to be exceptionally tough. This may be the best battle in the tournament so far between 2 bands. I really like their albums a lot. We're talking about Ilovatar and their album Children, and Gnidrolog and their album, which I forgot already, Lady Lake, of course. So the Ilovatar album was released in 1995 or 75? 95. And this, the Gnidrolog, I can never get that name. It's a weird name, man. Gnidrolog, Lady Lake, 1972. One on Rhea, that was the Gnidrolog one, and the other one on Inside Out Music. So Ilovatar is a much newer album by a couple decades. The sound on this album is really strong, really good. That's one of its outstanding characteristics. The other thing that I really like about this is that there's some really awesome bass on this album, like really good. The vocalist at times kind of sounds like Phil Collins quite a bit. The music in general sounds like classic Genesis, but because it came out much later, it also has that kind of Marillion sound to it too. And to me, the difference between the two is that the classic Genesis, you can tell it's a little bit dated, where the Marillion one is much more up to date and has a much cleaner sound, I think. So overall, I think this is a really, really great album. Definitely an album I have to have. I've been looking for it. Even if I got to pay a little bit to get it, I'm willing to do so. The keyboards on this, very atmospheric, very dominant, strong. The guitar is quite heavy in parts at times on this album. Also, I think the opening track, which is Haze, is the song I like the best. It has just about everything you could want in a prog album. Lots of intricate play, lots of really good, solid kind of sounds. The album cover is intense. The vocals are really good, and the instrumentation is of high standard. So I just really think this song, and it's catchy as hell. I like this song quite a bit. So the challenger, or I guess it's not really challenger, but the other side, which is featuring Gnidrolog and their Lady Lake from 1972. So not as good a sound. But I do have to say the flute on this album is really good. It serves up well. One of the main things on this particular album I like. Also, lots of keyboards. I think this is the group that's dominated by 2 keyboardists. So yeah, really great stuff. I think it's this group. If I'm wrong, somebody will yell at me for it, I'm sure, but that's okay. One of the tracks has some really good sax on it, and which is quite dominant. A couple of the tracks are a little bit quirky, on the little quirky side, but the stuff that works on this album works very well. Like this group should have been much better than they are, much bigger than they are. They do have that British tinge to their vocal music, although I think it sounds a lot better when there's 2 of them singing. So I think what happens is you got a lead singer and another guy kind of joins in. Really does something for their vocals when they do that. There's quite a bit of pastoral sound on this album, but there's equally as much heavy stuff as well. Very complex arrangements, I think. And overall, I find this album very well structured and put together. But it does, it sounds a little bit dated, and it also has not as good a production sound. Like the clearness of it is not as clear as the Ilovatar. So then I had to decide which one of these albums is going to the finals. To be honest with you, I thought this was the finals. That's not really, I shouldn't say that, because the other 2 bands are quite strong too. I did listen to both these albums today because I had more time than I normally do. I usually have to do it the night before. But because I knew I was doing it during the day, during my breaks today, I listened to them both. It was tough. I liked both of them. Both of them were very dominant in their series. Both of them just got better as it went along. Both of them have outstanding instrumentation. Both of them have great arrangements and catchy stuff. But I decided, because I can't pronounce it properly, I decided that Gnidrolog, I'm going to put it in the finals, and eventually I'm going to get this name right. Unfortunately, Ilovatar, which is another one I had a hard time with, as good as that album is, I think this one is just a tiny bit better. So the areas that it's a tiny bit better are that it sounds like something that's well within my wheelhouse. The other one is in that same area, but it's on a little bit more on the edge. So that's why I chose Gnidrolog and their Lady Lake album. So they will be going to the finals against one of the other 2. So I hope that you enjoyed this battle and that you'll show up for the finals. That would be great. Please leave any comments about either band or anything I've said in the comment section below, and we will this will come out fairly sometime before Monster hits tonight. I'm hoping to get it like before 7. That's my goal, but it just depends on a couple of things, and I'm going to do my best to get that out for you guys to enjoy. So please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated, and we'll be back with the other semifinal tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Oh, pressing on my book. That doesn't tend to work too well.